fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live to talk about this soap opera called Boxing. Lion's Opinion at Nathan Alvarez, 100%. Oh shit, we got a lot of them. I'm sorry. We got Sean Watts. Hi, Luke is a bum. Sean Watts says Fury and E Wilder #4 BS undisputed for belts. I'd pay 100 pay-per-view once in my lifetime. Heavyweight king. Yeah, you must be pretty young, my brother. But I do understand your passion and I do understand your desire to want to see a undisputed fight. Unfortunately, that's not for some people. I think for someone wanting to hold on to the WBC strap and not have all 4 belts at one time, I think their ceiling is just that small or that short or that high. Okay? Meaning it's really not. Because what could have happened between those two mother suckers, they could have eventually fought a 4th time. I don't have anything against them fighting again because the 3rd fight was entertaining. You got to give them that much. What I have a problem with is no one did diddly dog shit to warrant any 4th fight. Tyson Fury, yeah, you beat the mandatory that you're supposed to beat years ago because the other guy didn't do it years ago. Okay, instead, you wanted to fight the other guy that didn't do it years ago, which his name is Deontay Wilder, which you beat years ago. Can't make this up. Lion's Opinion, easy, bro. Nathan, you see Eddie say AJ can fight Fury during the summer if the Usyk fight doesn't happen. Well, that's Eddie. Eddie's going to say stuff like that. I haven't really heard Tyson Fury talk about Anthony Joshua, and maybe, just maybe, he stopped talking about Joshua. Finally, though. Finally, thank God. Because maybe the situation was introduced with Wilder. Secret meetings for weeks. Like, secret meetings. I remember Wilder said, everything just gonna happen when people stop talking about it. If everybody stopped talking about these things, I think the fight would then happen. Everybody just gotta shut up about it. Well, they've been quiet for a while. But the question you ask yourself is, why now, if they were in secret talks, why are we hearing anything at all about secret talks? That's what secret means. Don't tell anybody. A secret. Secret means you don't say shit to people. That's what secret means. So why on God green earth are we now hearing about a secret meeting or meetings with Wilder and Deontay Wilder? Or, yeah, might as well say that. But Wilder and Tyson Fury, right? Luke Mora and Nathan, Eddie only says that as he knows Fury is tied up and will fight Usyk. AJ had his chance to fight Fury in December, but he refused to sign the contract. Luke Mora, Tyson Fury decided to make a deadline when he didn't need one, and he didn't make a deadline with Derek Chisora. Go figure. We have to understand and we have to speak the facts. Let's take emotion the fuck on out of here. Emotion, and bless all the females are on the panel. Nothing against them. Let's say this: emotions are feminine. We can't even say masculine and all. It's masculine and it's feminine. Emotions are very feminine. So when you become very feminine, especially being a man, and you want to talk behind emotion and stuff, it's like, is that factual? Is that a fact? That's what we need to worry about. Like, yeah, I get emotional, but I get emotional about actual fighting. That's what I get excited about. Like someone getting knocked out cold, somebody getting, just caught with a clean punch that they didn't see and drops them on their ass, or somebody gets hit with a liver shot right? Or somebody lands a 4-punch combination that makes you freeze, makes that guy freeze. The type of combination that Lennox Lewis gave Andrew Galata that made him kind of, you know what I mean? He had to breathe. He had to suck up those punches because those punches punched the wind and the breath right out of him. That's the shit that makes me emotional. Not, oh, this is what I feel. Well, is that factual? We have to go with facts now. I wish people stop believing everything Fury says. He's a walking contradiction. Well, that's true. Nathan Alvides. Fury doesn't want the smoke from Usyk or AJ. He'd rather fight Wilder or Chisora for the 4th time. Well, based on what we've seen, this, I don't know. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do know. If he fights Wilder again, Wilder again, without fighting Usyk, without fighting AJ, that means Tyson Fury's all about rematches and redos, and he doesn't like new challenges. Okay? So, God forbid anybody that Tyson Fury beats one time that gave him a hard time, or something that he feel he couldn't do it again, because he's never ever going to fucking fight you. So if Tyson Fury does end up fighting Usyk and he beats Usyk, he will never fight Usyk again. Tyson Fury will fight Usyk and beat him by on points or some shit. If it's in Wembley, go figure. On points, go figure. Decision, go figure. If he beats Oleksandr Usyk on points by decision in his hometown, he will never fight him again, especially if it's something that was actually challenging or controversial, or something that you may want to see again due to the fact that whatever. Why do I say that? Because we've already seen it. We've seen it before. We've seen Tyson Fury give that fucking boxing lesson to Vladimir Klitschko, right? Nothing really dominant. He won the fight, but did he take Klitschko out? Did he retire that MFer? No, he didn't. He had, if anything, Vladimir more hyped up to fight him again, which he never gave him the opportunity. You can call it classic Mayweather or whatever, but understand, Floyd Mayweather was pretty boy before he was ever money. Money is the epitome of a guy that worked hard and trained that nobody gave respect to when he was doing it. When he was whooping Diego Corrales, when he was beating Daryl Chop Chop Corley or Shambe Minchell or Zab Judah, which was reviewed as one of the best fighters in the world. When he called out Sugar Shane Mosley, and Sugar Shane Mosley didn't want to have anything to do with him because of some other shit. You know what I mean? Like those type of things that everybody looked at Floyd Mayweather and was like, okay, nah, we don't need him. He's good, but you know what? We need Oscar De La Hoya. We need Roy Jones. How about Felix Trinidad? You know what? Fernando Vargas is looking pretty good right now. Everybody loves Arturo Thunder Gotti. Look, all those guys shine brighter than Floyd at that time. Okay, so Floyd has at least a reason to be bitter and a reason to change his whole persona to have people hate him. Tyson Fury doesn't. He doesn't. He beat Klitschko and he turned to drugs. Ooh. Not shitting on him because he turned to drugs. Everybody has their inner demons and stuff like that. But then it's like, you came out of that. So why are you being indecisive and not fighting the people that people want you to see, and always blaming it on the other guy? Now, you can't tell me at this point, people, Tyson Fury can't tell me that it's Oleksandr Usyk's fault if he doesn't fight him and he turns around and fights Wilder. You can't speak Usyk's name no more, but you know what? He will, because he wants somebody else to blame besides himself. If he's been having secret talks with Deontay Wilder, that's why Deontay's got quiet. If you notice, Deontay Wilder ain't said shit lately. We did hear him say and talk about how less of an opponent Andy Ruiz was, right? We heard that real quick. We heard that Andy Ruiz ain't got nothing for him and this and that and the other. Because he's looking at Ruiz, a guy that, that got beat by Joshua, but then beat Joshua. So that's more on that Joshua level. People are still taking sides and splitting up boundaries between who they feel they should fight or not. Instead of getting the fights fucking happening. You know what I mean? Like if like let's see a Pulev versus a Charles Martin and see who wins. You know what I mean? Let's see an Otto Vailene taking on Deontay Wilder. Hell, you fight everybody fights Dominic Brazil, but nobody wants to fight these particular guys. Let's see Otto Vailene and Hrgovic. Do you honestly think AJ is scared of Fury? Usyk has more skill, more movement than Fury, and faced him back to back. Ask yourself this before you get the notion to chat wet. I don't think he's scared of anybody. I just think at this point, this is what I feel about Tyson. I think Tyson knows that people know he's full of shit. So, other words, if you know someone that's always going to be difficult each and every time you even attempt to try to negotiate with them, then it's going to kind of be an understood, like, okay, that motherfucker wasn't going to fight anyway because he's talking about some type of damn rematch clause or he's making a deadline against better judgment from his promoters and managers and handlers, but he and himself is saying what he's not going to be put up with, like he knows what's best for his fucking career, because if he knew what's best for his career, he wouldn't have hired Bob Arum or Frank Warren to do any of the shit that he pays them to do. That's being difficult. That's like King Richard. Like, hey, I want you to train my daughter, but then that guy's training his daughter, but then yet he jumps in and tries to train. Like, yo, what are you hiring me for? You're doing me no good. Fury is about to be announced in the coming days. No one is scared of AJ or Usyk. I hope so, Luca Mora. I hope. Because if Fury, hopefully Fury's just throwing this shit in here like as a smokescreen, as a fear tactic, as a mind game, and kind of throw everybody off. Let's hope that's what it is. I do rate Fury, but man, he chats the most. Adari Pennant. Kurt, did you see Linear Battle versus Victor Krisk? It was a very good heavyweight match. No, I didn't see it, Adari. What network was it on? DAZN? Was it BT? Was it Queensberry? Rosie Mason, hello, Kurt. Hope all is well. Rosie Mason, all is well to you. Counterpunch to you. Counterpunch boxing news. Will Wilder and Ruiz fight? At this point, I would like them to, just so we wouldn't see something we've already seen before. That angers me. That's frustrating and annoying. Knowing damn well you fought this guy you want to fight him 4 times. Okay, speaking of 4, who's fought 4 times? Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez. They fought 4 times before, and actually the 4th one was better than all of them, but they were all explosive fights. Don't get me wrong. But do you guys understand on why these guys fought 4 fucking times? Do you guys know why Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez fought 4 times? Was because they were with Top Rank. Top Rank only had so many welterweights. The other welterweights belonged to Golden Boy. Okay? It was either Golden Boy with Richard Schaefer, and then Richard Schaefer went over to PBC, Premier Boxing Champions on Fox or Showtime. And they couldn't make those fights with Floyd and those guys over there, and Adrian Broner and Marcos Maidana. And, you had a lot of guys that were like, that you couldn't fight. You couldn't have a Danny Garcia and Ruslan Pravandakov. Top Rank only had Ruslan Pravandakov, speaking of him, Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. Who else did they have? I'm missing somebody. It was some other fighter that they had to deal with. But they didn't have too many. And since they didn't have too many, they had to all fight each other. That's why Bradley ended up fighting Marquez. Marquez ended up re-fighting Manny Pacquiao until he knocked him spark out. So, to say the least, it's like, hey, will they fight? I don't know. Fury thinks he's cemented his legacy, and he absolutely has it. Jungle is massive. I really don't think he has. You can't get your legacy is based on fighting the same guy over and over again. What's that's telling us? It tells us a lot of things. It tells us that you're complacent with only fighting one variety of person, the one trick pony. Sure, he's the most dangerous puncher in heavyweight history, so you claim. But if you've already conquered that, what or how the hell should we rate you? We should rate you at what limit, at what point, over and over again for fighting someone over and over again? You're showing us no variety. You're showing us that, hey, Wilder is still dangerous. Okay, that's wonderful. But you're shitting on Wilder's legacy by fucking with him because Wilder is a guy that is obsessed. He's obsessed about Tyson Fury. He's been obsessed about Tyson Fury ever since Fury danced around him and slapped his ass with that jab for 12 rounds, 10 out of those 2. 9 and 12 were the rounds that he won, and the other ones belonged to Tyson Fury bullshitting him and slapping his ass with that floppy ass glove that he had on his wrist and boxed his way to a victory. He's been obsessed ever since then. He could not get Tyson Fury out of his mind to save his life. He bypassed $100 million to fight AJ. All of a sudden, the belts didn't matter. No face, no name, no, all that shit. None of that mattered. Undisputed didn't matter. Being a multi-millionaire didn't matter. All that mattered was Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. So yes, Wilder is obsessed, and you think he stopped being obsessed now? Hell no. Because Wilder, in his mind, I need an opportunity, and this is my way of God blessing me with an opportunity to knock out Tyson Fury because I know Tyson Fury has done me wrongdoing. That's Deontay Wilder's mindset. You guys remember when Derek Chisora was joking about Tyson Fury's obsessed with AJ? Tyson Fury, he's obsessed with AJ. I think he wants to have sex with AJ. When he's making love to his wife, he's like, you know that AJ guy, the bodybuilder, shut up, motherfucker, and get on with it. You know what I mean? I think this, people. Mark my words. Deontay Wilder is as obsessed with Tyson Fury as Tyson Fury is obsessed with Anthony Joshua. It's an obsession like nothing else. The bodybuilder. The weight builder. CrossFit. I bet she has an 11-inch cock. What? What? No. Fury doesn't give a hoot about his legacy. All he cares about is his having his 1 pound more than he's got at any given time. Rosie Mason. That would be good if he's fought everybody already. That would be... See... I give Floyd a hard time because I still see the value in Floyd after being a certain age. I don't give a shit about Floyd retiring at 38, really. I don't care about that. Why? Because I know Floyd is that great that he could still compete with these guys, let alone beat these guys. So I'm like, why waste it on YouTubers and other fucking guys that have nothing to do with the sport instead of fighting the guys that you could possibly give a torch to? That's my problem with Mayweather. But it ain't because he didn't fight anyone. It's because he fought everyone and nobody gave a shit about it when he did fight them. So then he got jaded and said, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm going to do all this for the money. Where's that El Cinnamon? Because I know he's making good numbers over there at Golden Boy. Let me take him out first. Then let me take Pacquiao, let me make $300 million. And who else has done that in the sport or in the history of boxing? Nobody. Next. Moving on. Shout out to cousin Doris. Moving on. Next. Right? Marlon Thornhill, afternoon Kurt, counterpunch to you. Marlon, counterpunch to you back. Jungle is massive. Rosie, he's spoken about legacy a lot. People say legacy because the shit sounds good. Because legacy conveys anything else but money. Mostly when people talk about legacy, more than likely they're just talking about more money and more opportunity to make more money. Throw legacy in there because it may give you another zero. You know what I mean? You're no hero. Bars. Um, he's spoken about a lot of things, a lot such as being a Spartan, for example. I mean, in the ring, he wants to say he's a Spartan. That's fine. I think it's actually kind of cool. This is Spartan. And you know what thing about Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury actually was serious about that shit. You see, he was, this is Sparta. You know what I mean? He thought he was on Leonidas's crew. You know what I mean? he was leading his minions. Yeah, to battle. Good evening from Liverpool, England. Kurt, blessings onto you and everybody in the chat. Alan Skill in the place to be. Counterpunch to you. Right, you have to fight to see who wins. Yeah, you do. We've seen that shit over and over again. You get in there, and then here's the thing about Tyson. Maybe Tyson knows something we don't. The whole idea of saying I'm better than someone is, to me, is just the solution to not fighting anybody. You want to not fight someone? Prove how less significant they are. Yeah. Prove that you're not significant at all. You're not significant to the slightest. Let me tell you why. Let's break down your bullshit resume, shall we? Okay, you got beat by this guy. You got beat by that guy. You didn't even make this over here. You lost all points to this guy. That's 4 or 5 losses. How in the hell can you ever beat me? Floyd did the same shit. You got beat. You talking about Shane Mosley? With 5 losses? That Shane Mosley dismantled Antonio Margarito, right? He can't do nothing with me. I don't even know who the fuck Sugar Shane Mosley is. Right? That type of shit. So yeah, you can discredit a fighter. And I think it's safer that way to do so because you're just talking. You can use manipulation and intimidation and persuasion and all these tactics to avoid fighting certain people. Absolutely, you can. And Tyson Fury's getting good at it. Why fight Pulev or Andy Ruiz or Joshua even? Why fight these guys when you know that it's better to talk them down than to talk them up? Because if you talk them up, you bring people suspicion and interest in you fighting them. Counterpunch. Does that make sense? Tyson Fury will talk down anybody that he feels that's not worth a shit. The only person he talks up are the people that he already beat. And who is that? Deontay Wilder. He's the hardest puncher in heavyweight history, no doubt about that. Anyone seen Eddie Hearn's latest vid? He's pushing the Fury AJ fight. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that yet. But I will do a video on it, counterpunch it. But, for those who are there, over 100 of you guys, shout out to you. Hit that like button, please. I haven't seen it, but I will. Tyson versus Wilder will end up fighting more often than Rocky movies at this point. Yeah, it's sad because they pretend like there's no other people that is willing to fight them. And we know that is utter rim of the mill bullshit. That's all it really is. See, with Wilder, and I think this is Tyson's problem. Tyson's problem is he doesn't like being equal to anybody. It's like 50 Cent said about Floyd, money. Money. And then, 50's just, he just can't, Floyd just sees what he wants to see. He just never looks at himself. He's so above other fighters. So, if he's here, if they're there, he's all the way up here. He never sees himself equal to other fighters. I see Floyd, when you gonna give me my money? When you gonna my money, Floyd? Give me my money. It's become a joke since 2019. Yeah. And it's shitty. Floyd, I mean, at this point, Tyson Fury should have stayed retired. Because if he doesn't fight Usyk, there's no need for you to even be in the division. Who gives a fuck about you beating up Wilder again? All you're doing is fucking that man's head up physically and psychologically over and over again. And it's not right. At this point, if he fights Wilder, I'm pro Wilder and I want Wilder to knock his fucking face off. Why? Because there's no need for you to fight a guy that you keep fighting. That's what I would want. I would want at least Wilder to knock his fucking face off. But see, at the expense, though, mark what I just said, that I spoke, that's going to be a problem all by itself, because you got a guy that has an ego the size of God in Deontay Wilder. So the moment Deontay Wilder, if he knocks out Tyson Fury, all that shit is going to come back with all those annoying ass Wildettes. And when they come, they're going to come, see, I told you, he couldn't cheat no more. That would be the only fight that he didn't cheat. That fight, because he lost. Go figure. If you notice, he lost that fight because he couldn't cheat. Fuck out of here. Eddie trying to stop the fight. He said Fury deserves the biggest split because he's the name, and Usyk would only get a tenth of the purse without Fury in fighting mandatories. It don't matter, because at the end of the day, they're mandatories, not champions, Eddie. Fuck him. You know what I mean? Eddie's saying that shit because Joshua lost. And really, he shouldn't even have a pony in the show. And that just shows you that he's hating on Usyk, though. Bars. Jungle is massive. I'm fed up with talking. It's like watching paint dry. It is, but it gives us something to fucking do, doesn't it? Grim Reaper, yo, it's Reptile, and Fury can't be understood by the low frequency mind. Okay. That's interesting. Richard, will AJ and Wilder ever fight? No, because see, Wilder will get obsessed and get tempted, like he's already tempted, because if he's having secret negotiations, which is stupid as fuck, but if he's having secret negotiations with Tyson Fury, that's why we haven't seen him talk about Andy Ruiz any. Go figure. That statement. Appreciate the love, brother. Mike Celium. Counterpunch to you, bro. Appreciate the love. Fury versus Wilder 4 is bullying from Tyson. I mean, all it basically is hey, this is an easier fight. Oh, watch the right hand. Bit, 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 bit. That's all. What can I positively say about one? Look. I'm not going to speak that fight up. I'm not even going to sit here and give energy to that fucking fight. Why? Because that's not the fight that's supposed to happen. Okay? The energy of boxing doesn't supposed to sway that way. And see, understand, the sport that I love, that I hate so much, there's karma involved. God Almighty sprinkles karma on everything that's fucked up. That's how everything gets adjusted. Because, see, him pulling that dumb shit, if he pulls that shit with why? See, here's the thing. Let's just say this. How about destiny, right? How about fate is probably imminent, okay, for Tyson Fury. Maybe Tyson Fury, like some fighters, it doesn't matter who you fight. It doesn't matter who you fight. Let's look at it on a deeper scale. It doesn't matter who you fight. Maybe, just maybe, that may be the guy that's going to ultimately beat you. I don't give a shit what happens. Maybe you have just done so much or too much and got yourself in a situation that, because of the things that you've done in your life, your career, the manipulating, the mind games, the attempts, then all this, the shortcuts, the things that you attempted to do has came to a head, and unfortunately, you're going to lose your next fight. So, in other words, give you an example for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury might get beat by Oleksandr Usyk, but then again, he might get knocked out by Deontay Wilder. That's something that people don't think about. Like he was going to lose anyway, or someone's first loss. And this would be, in his case, his first loss. His first official loss. Vincent. Sup, Kurt? I told people this was going to happen. You did as well, but hedged it a little. Nonetheless, it was clear Fury was going to hurt himself fucking around Usyk. Well, Mark Purdy, counterpunch to you, brother. Counterpunch family. Does anybody else get Manny Stewart vibes from Derek James? I think Derek James is good for AJ, just like Sugar Hill is good for Luke Fury. Wilder has Malik Scott. I mean, I think Malik Scott's a very good trainer, man. I think he has a passion, and I think he has a knowledge for fighting. And seeing him coach Wilder in the third fight told me everything I needed to know about him. If not Usyk or Joyce next, I don't want a fourth fight. Marcellium, appreciate that love, brother. Keep them coming. Let's hit that like button. We got over 100 people in here. Let's hit that like button. Undisputed, 4 belts, 1 king. It looks like they're going against that. And the problem is, maybe it's let's look at it in another way. Let's fuck with Mauricio for a minute. Maybe it's the spirit behind the WBC. Maybe when you get the WBC belt, maybe it's fucking haunted. Maybe it's to the point where you just you start thinking all stupid and you don't really even think about anything else but the WBC. Oh, WBC. Right? Fury makes smart investments. Fury Wilder 4 is not worth watching. I would watch it because it's something to watch. Fuck. But I'm sick of fights that we want to see and that we don't get, and we get what they give us. We get what they give us, and that's supposed to be enough, and then we supposed to sit here and say, okay. No, it's not okay. It's not. This is why everybody jumps to MMA. Marcellium, counterpunch to you, brother. Preach. And then see, a lot of this shit happens in the States. And unfortunately for us over here, American boxers basically should be like the UFC cats. The UFC cats, if this was 20 years ago, those guys would be boxers. Nurmagomedov would be something like fucking Beterbiev. John Jones would probably be the heavyweight boxing champion of the fucking world. Yeah, guys like John Jones, Rampage Jackson. Who else? Who else? All these guys. Anderson Silva's boxing. He's a real boxer anyway. But if it wasn't MMA, then if we were 20 years off, if we were 20 years back, most of those guys that we've seen that come up through the MMA, the UFC, the Pride, those guys would be boxers. And what's happening in America, the people that are boxers, they get so just drowned in politics. It's just sickening. Well, we can't deal with HBO because HBO, we don't deal with them. We deal with Showtime. That's our network. And we, if that's a fighter on HBO, it's not enough money because that money has to make sense. And if it's not going to make sense, I mean, we can't do it. And we can't do it. I mean, we can't have it, but we got a lot of fighters over you. What are you talking about? That's exactly what they run into. Usyk could get into Fury's head, but in the ring, he should. Mr. Usyk. I feel bad for Usyk. You know why I feel bad for Usyk? Usyk is in the same situation that Vasyl Lomachenko once upon a time was. I'm going to say that again. Oleksandr Usyk is in the same position that Vasil Lomachenko was. Strangeness. Usyk is a true champion in character. Yeah, he doesn't bullshit, trying to skip around, trying to fight. Oh, let me go fight this other guy, or let me go fight a guy that just left the UFC. Let me go cross over. What the fuck are you crossing over for? You're a prize fighter, dummy. So what are you crossing over for? Alan Skill, Kurt, the problem is with boxing is the powers that be are telling us what we want instead of giving us what we want. Somewhat. I don't see them telling us shit. King Mike Hall, what up, Kurt? Y'all smash that like button for my homie. Hey man, smash the like button, says King Mike Hall. Counterpunch to you. I'm drinking on this Sun Kiss though. That's good stuff. Kurt, Larry Holmes versus Tyson Fury. Boxing match. You know, it'd be good though. I want to see what Tyson can do with somebody with actual skill that can use his legs, that can box and move. You know, Pacquiao schooled Marquez 3 out of 4 times until Marquez knocked him out. Marquez was ready for Pacquiao. You know, that fight was a reckoning. But ultimately, I mean, you keep fighting one person, he will get accustomed to you. Kurt, what do you think is the next for Usyk if the Fury fight doesn't happen? Mandatories. He's gonna fight his mandatories, and it'll probably Philip Hergovic first. No, it's supposed to be the WBA. So who's on the WBA end? It would be Daniel Dubois. So he would fight Daniel Dubois, fucking box his face off. And you know what? He might make Daniel Dubois quit. That would be something to see. Because what I see, Daniel Dubois is in no shape, form, fashion ready for someone like Usyk. But see, this is what happens. When Usyk fights Daniel Dubois, he's a winner, but ultimately that particular win will ultimately give him a loss. What do I mean by that? Foreman versus Lennox Lewis, who was better? Lennox Lewis was better than George Foreman. It's just George Foreman did record-breaking things. See, he's the oldest heavyweight champion ever. Unless Vladimir Klitschko comes back at age 46 and becomes a champion some kind of way. Lennox beats Foreman. Yeah, he does beat Foreman. Mr. Bipolar, Matty Howard. Usyk fights anyone, anywhere, anytime. He is special elite fighter. Yeah, but see, fighting guys like, okay, if he fights his mandatories, he's 38, right? Isn't he 38 years old? Isn't Oleksandr Usyk 38 years old, right? How old is Oleksandr Usyk?
36 years old.
He's 36. I'm thinking about Berterviev. But anyway, he has a little time, I feel. There's actually no point. What Foreman? 70s Foreman puts Lewis to sleep. I don't know. I don't know about that necessarily, but I know Lennox Lewis wasn't like an Ali. So there's a good chance that he could take out Lennox Lewis then, especially Lennox Lewis has an iffy chin. He has an okay chin sometimes, then an oh no chin at certain times. Just look at his track record. Yeah, he's been knocked out twice, and when he was gone. He couldn't make the count on both times. Oliver McCall knocked him out. Rahman knocked him out the first fight. Usyk cooks him, but he's already been beaten by Joyce and nearly lost that other eye. Yeah, you know what? King Mike Hall, I think fighting someone like Daniel Dubois now, he is only a wedge. He is only a hurdle. He has nothing to value from besides the WBA regular, but who gives a fuck about that when you're WBA super? Nobody cares about your super belt. You think Gennady Golovkin cared about the regular belt that Danny Jacobs had when they fought? No, he didn't give a shit. They didn't care. He didn't care about that belt. He just wanted a formidable opponent like Danny Jacobs, because that was Danny Jacobs' actual second loss. And it was a pretty good fight. Ricky Torre. What did I hear? PBC wanted Deontay to take no guarantee on money and a percentage of pay-per-view money. Must he be cursing himself turning down 100 million? Ricky Torre. He may not be smart enough to fucking do that, honestly. Appreciate that 5-5. But see, here's the thing. The best case scenario, Ricky, is that Deontay Wilder is cussing himself out over 100 million. And I can't say that Wilder's not smart enough, because he already told the world, addressing Tyson Fury, that Joshua offered me more money, punk. I should have fought him. So that was basically him saying, I fucked up. I should have took the money from AJ when I had the opportunity, instead of boast here and bullshit with you, you fucking con artist. Okay? You con man, when you weren't even telling me at the same time, punk, that you were signing with ESPN and was going to turn around and give me $3 or $4 million for a counter offer to fight me on ESPN. And now I feel like a real joke, right? That's exactly what happened. So yeah, he should be cussing himself out, because knowing those type of mistakes that you made, at least you learn something. What did you learn? That you made a mistake. What's the best thing about making mistakes? What's the best thing about lessons? The lessons become blessings. Why? Because you learn from them. You won't do something stupid in the future moving forward. You won't do a dumbass move like that, fucking around with Tyson Fury. Oh, by the way, a guy that you claim cheated you from A to Z. Let's just be real about that for a minute. So yes, if he's smart, he should be cussing himself out to this day. Damn, I should have fought AJ, A-Juice and J. I should have fought that bitch and knocked his ass out. Yeah, man, you should have knocked him out, man. I should have knocked that motherfucker out. To this day, I should have knocked his ass out. Pretty boy, bitch, give me the motherfucking endorsements. I'm Hugo Boss. I'm Africa. That motherfucker ain't Africa. I'm Africa. Wilder definitely should have took that fight and gotten retired for 100 million. If he would have won, he could have retired. Fuck Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder, okay, you know what would have warranted Deontay the statue? Let me tell you how it could have happened and should have happened. He should have fought Tyson Fury in 2018. Got a draw. Okay, you're off the hook, champ. You're still the WBC champ. You got the belt. You still have the juice. Guess what? You're going to have more juice, because now you were offered $100 million. You bypassed Eddie Hearn, the guy that couldn't learn. Bars you didn't like, because you was tired of him calling you Shirley Finkel. So you bypassed him to get with John Skipper, and John Skipper offered you 3 fights for $100 million. You should have took that fight, knocked out AJ with that right hand, and then went home. So, because the people that support, see, it wouldn't even matter if he would have knocked out Joshua. Tyson wasn't never the prize, people. He was never the prize. He was just a guy that he chose to use as a stair step to get more money from Joshua, because he needed respect, he needed notoriety, he needed to boost his name because he was building his name in America, and he needed to shut Eddie Hearn up because Eddie Hearn was over here talking about, do you know this guy, Deontay Wilder? Do you know him? I don't know him either. I'm just checking. Thank you. That type of shit. So what he could have done was he could have took that money, knocked out AJ, right? Hit him with that right hand, knocked him spark out, then went home. Maybe fought him again, appealed that contract, knocked him out. He still had to knock out whatchamacallit first, right? But he could have knocked him out. He got that 20 million, then that 40 million knocking out AJ, then that 40 other million knocking out AJ. He probably would have had an upside, maybe not. Then he could have went home. Then they could have made that statue for him, and that statue would have at that point really mattered. Fury won't risk his boxing record with Ngannou. He has to make up a different sport with boxing rules, but MMA gloves and a cage. Stranginess. I don't know what's up with that. I know he's rolled before. I know, he's half mounted and full mounted. I've seen him throw a couple knees. Honestly, I don't think MMA is for Tyson Fury, somebody that tall. I don't believe that. But, I guess we will see, right? Um, he called Hearn a slave master. I don't know any slave master willing to put up 100 million up. Jungle is masses. Wilder, that was a smokescreen. See, if you want people to avoid what they really should pay attention to, you make a diversion somewhere else. See, the whole thing was he created a scenario, a narrative about race, about Eddie Hearn. If he's a slave master, what does that convey? He's racist, or he uses black fighters because he's a white guy, right? Okay, that's what Wilder was trying to do. It was a deflection and it was a fucking diversion. We're not talking about, fuck Annabelle and milking Annabelle. What the fuck are you talking about? Let's talk about you fighting AJ. Do you see Anthony Joshua making up bullshit about Shelly Finkel? I almost said Shirley. Shelly Finkel? Oh, Shelly, he's so old, he looks like the Crypt Keeper. He looks like the Crypt Keeper. No, you don't see him saying nothing like that. Because it wasn't relevant. None of it was relevant. To talk about somebody's promoter, to put so much emphasis on, yeah, he's milking Annabelle, that's all he's doing. Yeah, he's just using his fighters. Well, that particular guy offered you more money. If AJ's Annabelle's doing a lot better than you, skinny, isn't he? So all that old slavery talk, rhetoric bullshit you talking about, that shit that you keep regurgitating in the South, that shit gets fucking old. But it's an easy way because there's enough people, because slavery is a very sensitive topic. So all you got to do is talk that shit about slavery to throw people off of what's really happening. And what was happening at the time? People wanted to see him fight Anthony Joshua for undefeated champions, okay? Fighting at the same time. One from the UK, one from the fucking USA, down south. Let's get it on. Let's go. What do you talk about? Eddie Hearn trying to milk Annabelle. Really? Like, is that what the fuck you, like, is that all you, let's talk about the contracts. Let's talk about reality. Let's not talk about stupid shit on how you feel. I was disappointed. You ever had anybody lie to you? Well, I've heard you fucking dismiss shit listening to fucking Al Heyman pissing off your promoter. Yeah. You guys do know Luda Bella and Deontay Wilder was like this. He got them all together. I can't keep telling you guys this. I want you guys to understand. It was Luda Bella, the promoter of Deontay Wilder at the time, that put all those guys together. He put them all together in one room. John Skipper, Al Heyman, Shelly Finkel, Deontay Wilder, himself, right? And this talk about the deal. Structured, fight on the zone. But no, Al Heyman already created a narrative. This fucking slick prick, he's already created a narrative that the zone's no good. Had Floyd, Money Mayweather talking about it. Derogatory. Now he fought on the fucking thing, Deji, right? Then he had Leonard Ellerby talking about, I don't want to fight. There's some app that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. There's just some app, booty hole nose motherfucker, right? So you had people already talking about an app, and they forget that people talked that shit against premier boxing champions and wanted to shut them down like Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum. Why? Because they were free TV, and it was an ingenious idea by Al Heyman. And I'm thinking the same thing I'm thinking about them. Why are they fucking with these guys? Why is Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya fucking with Al Heyman? He's bringing boxing back to free TV. He's bringing the ratings up. The more people can see it. Why? Because it's free, idiots. That's why. And Al Heyman with Richard Schaefer was able to pull most of those fucking guys from Golden Boy over to Premier Boxing Champions. That's what the hate was about. Bob Arum, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with him. That's not what you're supposed to do, motherfucker. Right? But he did that. He did that shit. And nobody was talking about how bad Premier Boxing Champions was. I was happy. Why? Because I'm a boxing fan. And I wanted to see more boxing. Sometimes you don't have the money for Showtime or HBO. Especially us just coming over here out of recession and we couldn't afford that shit. You got to cut all that extra stuff off. But Al Heyman comes in with an ingenious plan. I know. Let's put this shit on TV back in the early 80s. How many people seen Hagler versus Thomas Hearn? Millions. Why? Because it was on free TV. Leonard versus Duran. Because it was on free TV. So you guys have to understand. But see how they forget that easily. Now a new whole streaming that you can watch on your smart TV. The Zone comes around. You want to talk shit at it. See, they were so busy putting it down, they couldn't understand that, yo, this is a fucking opportunity. Right? And they pissed over it. Because they were trying to do what? Oh, it's pay-per-view still. Let's hang on to pay-per-view. Because they still want to be what? Greedy. Just like Bob Arum, just like Oscar De La Hoya was. Trying to be greedy, trying to keep it on Showtime or HBO, trying to harness the market for themselves. That's what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. Imagine if that pumped up bodybuilder would have knocked out Wilder and Fury. Yeah, I can imagine that. But understand, imagine if those guys knew that that was a possibility. Would we still have them fighting? The answer is more than likely no. See, I don't fall for the bullshit. If AJ was that easy, they would have fought that motherfucker years ago. See, for all the people that fought Golden Boy, they actually believe they could beat Golden Boy, but they also came in that ring with the mindset of knowing that this guy can also beat me. We didn't have a bunch of pussies with feminine traits. We had a bunch of real men that were up for the challenge. Fernando Vargas, I Corte, Ober Carr, Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez, 1 and 2. Okay, we had guys that actually thought, Miguel Angel Gonzalez, Macho Camacho. These guys thought that they could actually beat Oscar De La Hoya, but guess what? They got rich at the same time. Counterpunch. These motherfuckers act like they can't get rich or don't want to get rich or don't want the best money because they don't want to get beat by the guy that has the money. Because if the guy that has the money and he's already richer than them and he beats them, that's a double whammy. It's a double standard. Like, damn, man, that's jacked up. I hate this motherfucker because he makes more money. Then he beat my ass too. They couldn't fathom the idea. That's my counterpunch on that. Fury getting washed by the big Nigerian brother. Ngono. Mastermind 96. If Tyson Fury beats Usyk, he will retire undefeated as the greatest champion of all time. Mastermind 96. That's if he takes the fucking fight and stops pulling everybody's chain. He has to fight him first. See, my whole thing of Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury would just shut the fuck up, remember, he's a boxer like anybody else. At times, he does admit that. Now, don't get it twisted. At times, he does tell you, well, hey, if I lose, okay, like everybody loses. That's why I want him to lose so bad. I want Tyson Fury to lose just to see how he's going to act. If he acts like a straight asshole, I'm going to laugh. Not laugh, life. I'm going to laugh at him. I'm going to laugh so hard Fucking, that motherfucker cheated me, the fucking Dalsa, the Ukrainian prick. He cheated me. He put something over my eye. He hit me in the ball sack. I couldn't move my legs. The referee was chinny. He doesn't like gypsies. That's what it is. The fucking prick. You know what? I think it was Vladimir Klitschko. They did something to his gloves. I'm like, what are you talking about? I would laugh so hard. I would laugh so hard. I know can't nobody be blaming little Uzi for these kids being feminine because the guy be throwing down all the time. It's really disappointing. Fury's ducking AJ and Usyk. I guess he's content with the top 3 wins and back to fighting journeyman. I mean, if you were Tyson Fury and you really didn't want to challenge yourself, I mean, honestly, you really didn't. You would do exactly what he's doing now. He's just content with the idea of fighting someone that may hit him with one shot and knock him out. But other than that, he doesn't have any other interest. And I'm saying this prematurely because we don't know what's going to happen. Because for all we know, Tyson Fury could just be using this to get in Usyk's head. See, the topic is Usyk. Usyk with mind games. Has he got into Tyson Fury's head? That's the question. If you guys haven't voted, I suggest you go to the community or whatever and vote and then come back. And here's the thing, you can look at it 2 ways because it's kind of tricky. You could say Tyson Fury's trying to counteract. He's trying to strategize this by making his move. Okay? And it could be him trying to convince or get into Oleksandr Usyk's head by him saying, look, you fucking Ukrainian prick, I have another guy that I could fight. If you don't get with the program, you're going to be out of it. And you're going to miss millions of dollars because I have this backup. I have this other backup. You can't stop me because you don't define me, you prick. You ugly little man, rabbit, middleweight, Dalsa, CrossFit. Right? He's still not up there with Ali, even if he beats Usyk. No, he has to fight them all. Joshua, Dubois, Joyce, Ruiz. He has to fight all of those guys. Because Ali fought all of those guys. So you can't be calling himself no Ali by fighting Wilder 3 times. And you're not even giving Wilder an opportunity to show to make his shine. And then see, once again, you're not allowing another fighter to shine because you're trying to keep him in the dark by you fighting him and beating him again. We won't know how good Wilder really is or how good he's an improved until he fights someone else with some skill. Helenius really didn't have that. He was an old, washed-up guy that has been knocked out in the ring with Deontay Wilder. So what do you think he was going to do when Wilder put that God-gifted, blessed right hand punching power on him? He was going to do exactly what he did. Lay down. I'm talking with somebody with some skill, some speed, some acknowledgement, some fear, okay? Some ring IQ. I'm talking about somebody that then he could beat, then he can build his name off of somebody else besides those Tyson Fury ass whoopings and old ass Ortiz. Counterpunch. See, give Wilder a chance. It's not even fair to Wilder. You're fighting Wilder again. You're fighting him again. He beat Helenius. That was his comeback fight. But don't just throw him back in there where he was. Who says he's ready for that shit? He might be and we already know Wilder's still psychologically fucked up by the way he talks. He talks fucked up. I know he's just a cheater. I know it. I just know, man, you cannot tell me. You cannot see that. But I mean, Wilder's fucked up, bro. I don't even think it's healthy for him, for his mental health. Or it's not good for him mentally to fight Fury right now. It's not. He needs to go somewhere else, get some more victories, learn another opponent, conquer another opponent, and then move on. Maybe AJ after that. He needs a real test besides something that he didn't pass. He didn't pass that test. So guess what? He needs to see if he can pass one that's less significant. Does that make sense to anybody? You didn't pass this test. Okay, it's too advanced. How about this test? Okay, we're going to give you an easy ass test, but we're going to have to put you in the middle. Not bring you back up where you were because you haven't learned anything from when you failed it the first time. You haven't been studying. You've been complaining. I'm just trying to make sense out of this shit, people. How do you rate Jared Anderson? How good can he become? I don't really know how good he can become. I can tell you, he's okay. He's okay. He's versatile. He's a good counterpuncher. He knows how to fight. He beat the shit out of Tyson Fury, so that should tell you everything you need to know about Jared Anderson. Usyk was looking at Fury like he was boar belly meat. Belly. Nom, nom, nom. An unskilled Wilder is the only thing he has to hang his hat on. Well, King McHall, and that's sad. What you're doing, you're telling us that you would rather you don't want, and it's almost like, why are you fighting him now? That's just as worse than him trying to fight Joshua after he got beat by Usyk. Motherfucker, fight Usyk. But maybe it's because maybe this is what he did. Maybe because Usyk took that time off because he said he was going to do that anyway. And then we'll be ready in the early part of next year. Instead of him saying, okay, I'll see you next year, he goes and he fights Derek Chisora, keep busy. Then he starts complaining about an injury himself. Well, how about this, jackass? How about you didn't talk about your injury? How about why didn't you mention your injury when Oleksandr Usyk mentioned his? Because he was trying to convince everybody that Usyk was the bad guy. That's why. That's easy. Fury getting everyone head. He may. But I mean, I think he's trying with this Wilder shit. But I will say if this is the objective, is to get in people's head, it's wrong because you're going to fuck Wilder's head up. Leave Wilder alone, man. Just leave him alone. Because Wilder is not, he doesn't have the temperament to understand, well, I need to fight other people first. He's just thinking of chaos, destruction, murder, all that stuff. Usyk has fire in his belly. At this point, Jake Paul would beat AJ. Okay. Everybody's sleeping on AJ. And then he just got outboxed by a smaller guy that was just more significant. Kurt's victories over Dillian White, Deontay Wilder, Usyk, and Klitschko will definitely put you in Ali conversation. In a conversation, it'll put you in the room, but can you necessarily stay there? No. And all he has to do is work. All he has to do is show us, just beat these guys in your era, everybody that could be posed a threat. Size means so much less than people realize. At UFC, I thought Islam was too big for Volk because Islam 5 inches taller, but when the fight starts, there is a rectangle of activity between fighters reaching mat or whatever. Forget the size and strongman qualities. Boxing is a martial art. Fury understands that the art of fighting more than AJ. I believe that. But he should. He should know more than AJ. He's a fighting man. He's been fighting since he was 5 or 6 years old. Ali lost to Leon Spinks 7-0. Usyk is a slick southpaw. Most right-hand dominant boxers struggle against them, but all AJ would have to do to clear that hurdle is to work the body. Reach matters more than height is what I mean to say. Okay. Usyk should fight Joyce Fury versus Wilder, then AJ will have his 2 tune-ups and fight the winner of Wilder, Joyce, Usyk, or the winner of Fury and Wilder. That's the only way. Let's hope it happens. AJ would KO Fury in 8 easy. If he does that, would people be surprised? I wouldn't. If Joshua went in there and knocked out Tyson Fury, I wouldn't be surprised. Because it's one thing you guys haven't understood about inconsistency. Tyson Fury hasn't consistently done anything until lately. He stayed busy. He had 2 fights last year. He fought his mandatory Dillian White. He bullshitted us with Derek Chisora, but I mean, that's a Tyson Fury anyway. Now we're hearing about talks of Wilder fighting him again. I just find that crazy. I just think Usyk may have Tyson Fury doing all this different shit because he doesn't want to fight him, and that's what you do. You may think he's smart, but in the whole scheme of things, if that was another bullshit fighter, do you think he would be in secret talks to fighting Deontay Wilder? No, he would be getting the fight done with this nobody ass bum fighter. But anyway, you guys, I appreciate you guys coming in. Um, Happy Valentine's Day to the guys, to the gals. I hope you guys have a great romantic evening. If you don't intend on having a kid, don't have one. If you're intending on having one, I wish you the best and have the healthiest baby ever, because this looks like it's going to be a romantic night. Ow! You guys tell me what you think of Oleksandr Usyk. Is he getting in Tyson Fury's head, or is Tyson Fury getting into Oleksandr Usyk's head? You guys tell me about these negotiations, especially with this surprise from a Deontay Wilder, right? Okay, God bless you guys. I hope everybody stays safe, and you all have been counterpunched. Peace.